they're a team who feels like they're a quarterback and maybe a defensive lineman away from being really good, but,
Yeah.
like, those are two of the hardest things to find.
Will Levis has crazy talent. Like,
Yeah.
what if he just goes out there and balls? What if he
Alright.
just goes out there and just houses bananas and throws for thousands of yards?
Wait.
You play to win the game. Hello? You play to win the game. You don't play to just play it.
All right, Tennessee Titans. Man, this team would have been great 3 years ago.
Yeah. I'll tell you what. Brian Callahan, I think this O-line is going to be nasty, and I have no real reason as to why I believe that. I like
J.C. Latham. I like Skoronski. I like Dylan Radins. Is it Radins?
Radins, I guess. Mean, run skills have always been serviceable, and Cushenberry's coming off a really strong year.
I like Cushenberry, too.
They could struggle a little early because this is a lot of new faces. But, like, if anyone can get an O-line right, it's Bill Callahan. And I think
let me tell you what I don't like about this team. Tony Pollard, Tyjae Spears, Will Levis. I think Will Levis is fine. I think Will Levis is Gardner Minshew. I think Will Levis...
with a cannon for a right arm.
Yes. But I don't know if that helps or hurts because he can't
put
it where he wants to.
I'm going to push back on that. Gardner Minshew does a lot mentally because he can't do it physically. Will Levis does a lot physically, and I just don't know what's going on in his head.
When I say he's like Gardner Minshew, I think he cares a lot. Like, he seems like he really cares.
You kidding me? Did you see him throw that interception and go force the fumble and then try to run it back in the end zone? Like
that's a dude I want playing.
And then it wasn't even a fumble, but it was just like this dude just ran like 70 yards total.
That's a dude I want playing quarterback for me if I didn't have a good quarterback. Like, if we're just throwing somebody out there, that's who I want to throw out there. But that doesn't mean he should be your quarterback. If we're just throwing somebody out there anyway, give me somebody that cares that much to like just go lay a hit. I love that. I love that about him. I just don't think he's good.
He played 8 games.
8 games.
He had like maybe 2 good games in there. Yeah. One of them is the one that everyone remembers on Thursday Night Football because that game was wild. Also, he played 5 top half of the league defenses in that stretch, so it's also hard to build it off that.
Yeah, and he's got a full offseason with a new offense coordinator. And it's not a Mike Vrabel team. I've mentioned that multiple times tonight. And, I mean, that could be good because I just keep thinking of them as the Mike Vrabel Titans that went out and signed Tony Pollard. And I'm like, you're really putting your offense in this guy? But then you look at it, like, I love Okonkwo at tight end. I think he's got one of the highest ceilings out of any tight end in the league. Kind of like a David Njoku type, like just a freak athlete. Mm-hmm. And then you pair that with a Tyler Boyd, a Traylon Burks, a Calvin Ridley, and a DeAndre Hopkins at wide receiver. And you're like, oh, maybe this is just a different team.
I was not familiar with your game, sir.
Yeah, so this
is a team where like they probably have one of the widest ranges of outcomes in the league, which usually means you're not going to be good, but like on occasion means you're really freaking good because everything just
They could be anywhere between 14-4 and 4-14. Maybe not 14-4. I don't think their defense is good enough for that.
Well, they can't be 4-14. They could be 3-14.
Oh man, I messed that up. Yeah, so 4-13 or 13-4 is what I meant to say.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. I mean, I can't say like if Hopkins stays healthy on the field and keeps producing. If Ridley looked awesome in the games I watched in Jacksonville. If Boyd keeps up the production, if Burks breaks out a little, even if Burks doesn't break out a little, if Levis can just be decent. But how many years do you hear someone say, if our quarterback can just be decent?
Yeah. Like,
the bar for decent is like no one realizes, I feel like decent equals like Andy Dalton.
Andy Dalton on the Bengals.
Lower than that. Andy Dalton on the
Cowboys?
Bears, on the Panthers,
he started basically a full season for the Cowboys and was not good.
That is what decent quarterback is.
Yeah. Yeah, man, it's a tough spot, and they went out and spent money.
This team expects to win.
To win. I know you do a lot of stats and stuff. How do you have numbers on teams that go out and spend the most in free agency? Because I feel like it never works out.
Sometimes they'll give you a dead cat bounce, but usually it ends poorly.
Yeah,
like it'll give you like a 1 year playoff boost, and then you crash back down. But
yeah,
usually it's just not a good team building strategy.
Especially with teams like this, like if you already have a good team and you go out and spend on free agency, then yeah. But like when you weren't that great to begin with, like they would have been better off just sticking with Ryan Tannehill. I feel like
maybe. I mean, the thing with that is he's never healthy anymore.
No, I'm just saying, like, I mean, I guess Will Levis.
Like availability does matter, right? Like
Yeah.
it has to. And looking at the O line, like these numbers look really rough.
Yeah,
but like you need JC Latham to step in at left tackle and just be the dude that you drafted him to be. And I think with this O line coaching tandem with the Callahans, like I think he's going to turn out to be pretty good. Dylan Radoon showed some nice stuff as a run blocker last year. I think they're going to lean into that a lot this season. Not put him in many true pass sets. Not put any of this O-line in many true pass sets. And then on the interior, I actually really like what they're doing here. Lloyd Cushenberry's coming off a career year in Denver. Peter Skoronski, he showed some really nice improvement throughout the season last year. Like he started a little rougher than I think people expected him to. And then fought through some injuries, but I thought there was some growth there on his tape. And Daniel Brunskill's just been a guy who in this league who has consistently been a starter. You know, I mean, he's not going to shock you. He's not going to wow you, but he tends to just get the job done. And there's something to be said for that. Now, looking at the defensive line, Jeffery Simmons is that dude. He's one of the more underrated players in the NFL. This dude is a monster. He's just a freak of nature, and he's really good at getting after the quarterback, stopping the run. His bicep is like the size of a gallon of milk.
He's a big boy too.
Yeah, he's freaky. But behind him, Sebastian Joseph Day is fine, and you got really nothing else until your rookie, where you drafted T'Vondre Sweat in the second round. Now, T'Vondre Sweat next to Jeffery Simmons has the potential to be very dominant.
If he wants to play football.
There's a lot of question marks there, but
yeah.
That's again, if everything goes right for this team, there is a path for them to be very good.
It's very high ceiling, I feel like, but very, very low floor.
Yeah, a wide range of outcomes. And then the edge room, they're really thin. Harold Landry and Arden Key were healthy most of last year.
I didn't even know Arden Key was still in the league.
Yeah, he's still there doing his thing. I mean, he was a decent pass rusher.
Yeah, always has been.
These guys are secondary to Jeffery Simmons. Like these guys eat off of what Jeffery Simmons does. Landry's better than Key. Landry could probably be a starting pass rusher in some other places, but like outside of that, this room is just super thin, and I'm really curious about how they are going to structure their pass rush here, because it's really just Jeffery Simmons and everyone else eat off of Jeffery Simmons, which it kind of has been for years now, but at least they used to have like Auden Tate and a few other guys next to Simmons who you felt like were also eating, also creating. Yeah, Danico Autry. And yeah, Auden Tate, that's a wide receiver for Cincy years ago.
I didn't know if that was somebody else. I was like,
sometimes my mouth just starts going faster than my brain. But I'm just not sure how this room is going to structure, but it's worked in the past because Jeffery Simmons is just that good. Like he covers up a lot, and you got to hope he can do that again. In the linebacker room, Kenneth Murray, Jack Gibbons. I mean, Jack Gibbons, shocking stats. I haven't watched enough tape to actually feel confident talking about Jack Gibbons here, but I'm realizing right now that I need to, because these numbers are really impressive. But again, it's a little thin. You got Cedric Gray out of North Carolina, who has like, you know, his knuckles are like scraping the ground when he walks. That's how long his arms are, which I love in linebackers. That means you can stack and shed as long as you're strong enough, theoretically. Yeah. Not every guy can, but in theory, it should work. And then this is where the defense gets really interesting. This secondary is pretty damn good.
Mitch W. is one of the best corners in the league.
Yeah, always has been. Always will be.
Always has been. You're correct.
I mean, adding L'Jarius Sneed, Roger McCreary was already a good cornerback here, and adding Chidobe Awuzie. I like Jarvis Brownlee Jr. in the draft. They still have Caleb Farley, who's barely really played, but who knows? Maybe he'll get some run this year. If not, you still got 3 guys who you feel really good about here in your top 3 quarters. That's a team that can give you some trouble on defense. And then you add in Amani Hooker on the back end, who's made some plays in this league, been a good run stuffer, and Elijah Molden, who converted from corner to safety, also has done some nice stuff there for them. Like, there's some potential here. I'm not sure that they're the strongest cover safeties in the league, but you have pieces. You have pieces at the safety position that you can work with, and a stacked cornerback room. Like, this defense could get interesting with some good coaching.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, like, there's things to like about this team, but I don't like it.
No, I don't have.
So
we've said the word "if" a lot.
Yeah,
and that generally
not a good
scares
thing.
me. Like,
so looking at this team's over under 6.5. I would love this under if it wasn't -134. Definitely don't like the over at +110. I don't feel like you're getting great odds there either. Playoffs, yes, at +470. No, at -700. Division +800. AFC champ at +6,000. Super Bowl champ at +13,000. I mean, I might look for an alternate line here. Like, if it's 5.5, I might take that. I think 5 wins is about where they land. If I can get 5.5 at +130, I might go for that.
This team's gonna be like 5-12, but like 10-7 against the spread.
Yes, I think I'm gonna love the Titans against the spread this year.
This is in consideration to don't sleep on, because they're gonna be nasty against the spread.
Yeah, usually for don't sleep on, I like teams that like can maybe actually make a run.
Oh yeah, I'm not saying they're my
division.
pick, because it's like the don't sleep on team is a team who's up and coming that, like, in the next 2 years we're hoping makes the playoffs. Like, I'm not sure this team is building to that. I think this team is band-aided up to be really nasty against the spread this year.
Yeah, like I don't see the future for this team, because it's like everybody they went out and got isn't necessarily young by any means, and it's like they went out and made a lot of win now moves without a win now roster.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
like,
with
very
that,
confusing.
Their team feels like they're a quarterback and maybe a defensive lineman away from being really good, but like, those are 2 of the hardest things to find.
Yeah, it's like, oh, we'd be really good if we had a quarterback. Yeah, talk to the Browns for the last 8 years.
Or an edge rusher. Those just grow on trees. Like, and maybe in a year they can get an edge rusher in the first round or a quarterback in the first round and be like, okay, now we're sitting pretty good.
Will Levis has crazy talent. Like, what if he just goes out there and balls?
Just slings the mayo.
Another what if, but what if he just goes out there and just houses bananas and throws for thousands of yards?
Wait, just does what?
You never seen him eat a banana?
Yeah, okay. Now I get it.
He eats a banana.
It took me a second.
He eats banana with pill on and everything. All right, I'll take the Bears week 1 in Chicago. Caleb Williams coming out party. Yeah. Do you agree with me?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm with you as well. Week 2, I'm taking the Jets at Tennessee. I'll take the Packers week 3 at Tennessee. I want the Titans to win that game.
Taking the Titans there.
Give me the Titans there.
I mean,
fuck the Packers.
So the Packers have a bunch of young wideouts who really exceeded expectations last year, but against this cornerback room, I could see them faltering some. And you're putting a lot of weight on Jordan Love then to carry the offense or the running game, and I think Jeffery Simmons and Sweat might just be enough to push the Titans over the edge there and keep them from going 0-3.
Miami, I know it's not that far of a drive for them, but that's still a crazy difference in temperature. Give me the Dolphins there. Monday Night Football week 4. We both like the Colts week 6. Bills going to Buffalo week 7. I'll take the Bills here. Lions, week 8. I'll take the Lions in this spot. Going to Detroit. I really like this Lions team. Patriots. Patriots got to win some games. It's sort of the Titans.
I'm taking Titans because I think that
I like
Will
that
Levis
Patriots defense.
can outplay another rookie, and in Tennessee, I think there's a good shot there
in
that the talent wins out.
Tennessee, I like the under in that game. Can you put a note in there to tell me to take the under? We both like the Chargers week 10. Vikings, Titans. Tell me to take the under in this game too. I'll take the Titans. Then we both like the Texans week 12. Commanders. Jaden Daniels is gonna be tough. I'll take the Commanders in this game. I think Jaden Daniels is gonna put them in a blender. Then we both like the Jaguars the week after that. Then we both like the Bengals after that. We both like the Colts after that. I have the Titans week 17. Q has the Jaguars. And then we both like the Texans.
I'm gonna have to adjust this. We're winning more than 4 games.
We both have it 4 though.
We're winning more than 4. This team is too talented to only win 4 games.
But you look at what we just went through. I think they're winning more than 4 too. They could go 4-13 and be 13-4 against the spread. I think that's the team we're looking at. Like, look, how many of these games are they gonna be favored in?
I think I'm too high on the Colts.
Yeah, I'll take that. I'll take the Colts off. We'll both take the Colts off there. So that takes
like
my Colts.
They could throw Richardson for a spin.
That takes the Colts down to 8-9 for us.
For you, maybe. I think I had them at 10 or 11 wins.
Oh yeah, here we go.
Yeah, so that takes me down to 10 for the Colts. Yeah, okay. I feel better about that. At least they win 5. I still think this roster should win 6 probably, but I just don't know where that 6th is coming from.
Yeah, like I said, I think 3 teams are going to be in double-digit win category, and I think the Titans are going to be in that 5 to 7 range. So I mean, I like where I'm at.
What's tough about this is like I believe in the Titans coaching staff. And they have the talent on their roster. But it's just like there's so much that could potentially go wrong within that.
And they have a tough schedule too.
Mm-hmm.
Hell, you could say that 10,000 times and it still wouldn't be enough.
It fires me up, man.
I love it. Say it one more time.
Shake it back!
Does that feel good?
Yeah, it rhymes. They're both verbs.